So my name is Omar Rabasad. It's 5:06 p.m., July 2nd, 2019. So just going to make a very brief video to show you the tagging today. And my face is swollen because the power is turned off. And my body also is quite bloated. So I'm going to try going to the sauna and getting some of the fluids out because when you're inflamed, your body tend to retain a lot of fluid. So you can tell chubby cheeks, right? So here is the tagging. Getting heartburn as my chest is being radiated. Now I'm going to get a spectrum analyzer, and the spectrum analyzer will show these spikes very clearly. It will also show the interval of the spikes. So if it's every 5 minutes, every 2 minutes, every half an hour, it will also show it. So and my temperature, 37.4. I don't have a fever. 36.5. 36.5. 36.6. Sudden drop. 36.6. The detector keeps going off because the switch is right there. As soon as you touch it, it goes off. So the temperature internal 36.6. So increased 37.4, sudden drop 36.5, almost 1 degree instantly. So that's because this is on and off, up and down, on and off. So the tweets I tweeted today are in my account, ROSHINI911. Those were mine. Um, I talked about a conspiracy to have me mentally committed that involves some of the cops who are colluding with the people in the building to get me pulled out, basically, and drugged. So these signals are causing a whole lot of pain, and they are accompanied by comments outside the window. Yesterday, I was sitting on the bench getting some sun and getting my vitamin D. And suddenly the area became very, very busy. So I heard that somebody actually called cops because they thought that I was sitting there to pick up men. um, there were a couple cars that drove up and we're just standing there waiting for half an hour in the driveway in front of the building. The bench just happened to be in front of the building near the flowers, and I had just come in with my groceries, and my back was really hurting because I had it in my knapsack on my back. So I sat on the bench for a while. I decided to soak up some sun while I was doing that. So I heard somebody call the cops. The people in the building are so paranoid and so intent on getting me pulled out because I'm exposing a sex slave operation that's been run in this building for years. Suspecting that people are selected, vulnerable people, young girls living with grandmothers, women living alone, boys, young boys. There's a lot of criminal activity in the area, in the Chinese community, and I suspect that the building was infiltrated a long time ago. And the women who are living alone, like myself, are being preyed upon remotely to be experimented with to be flagged based on lies, and some dirty cops will help the flagging with the flagging and help with the containment while you're being trafficked, because some of these cops are also taking part in the remote viewing and the logging on. As I indicated, these signals are indications of being logged on, remotely raped. In other words, when these signals are aimed between your legs and on your breast, that's rape. So what I'm demonstrating is rape. So there is a password and a link that this is done with. I'm being accessed inside of my home. But although I am being victimized this way and I'm exposing it, which is helping me cope, because when I'm exposing it, it um, it makes me feel like I'm turning a positive into, excuse me, turning a negative into a positive. So it helps me cope. There's no suicidal tendencies, obviously. I'm actually learning from the process. My concern, my huge concern, is the kids who are enrolled in the program, because this program starts very early, and I'm suspecting that I was enrolled in some sort of a program in high school. I'm suspecting that the scouts are in the high schools, and they're first they prey on the vulnerable, like new immigrants. Then they prey on poor kids of whatever color. It doesn't really matter what their ethnic background is. And then they prey on not so poor kids based on what pedophiles like. If the pedophiles like blonde, blue-eyed, they will prey on those. So people actually put orders in for the scouts to choose people, because that's how the trafficking works. So this is all based on comments that I hear. I'm piecing this puzzle together bit by bit. So it seemed that there are pedophile rings all over in schools and neighborhoods and so on. And members of these rings are always scouting for orders that are put into them to fill. I want somebody short. I want somebody brown skin. I want somebody blue eyed. I want somebody blonde. I want a boy. I want a girl. I want a baby. And these scouts will go out and find them, and then find a way to compromise the person. Because I was flagged while I was at UFT taking courses at night. I started university full time. My dad passed away in Trinidad. I went home for a few months, came back, and I couldn't concentrate enough to study full time. So I went to work full time and started doing part time courses, and that's how I finished my courses, my degree in economics at UFT, part time for the rest of the degree. So it took me a while, and a lot of dedication, and a lot of uh, a lot of determination, because I was doing it through wintertime as well, and I was working overtime also, taking while I was doing courses. So and I was carrying a car, and I was paying rent, or I was handling my mortgage. So there was a lot of responsibility on my shoulders while I was helping, um, you know, um, families members. So there was a lot of responsibility. But I was flagged, and somebody, a trafficker in the building, flagged me because he had picked me. I was chosen to be compromised, to be degraded, to be trafficked. And that started a long time ago. And now we are seeing the fruits of all that that criminal, all those criminal activity that went on for years. So now it's overt. It's no longer covert. It's overt, right in your face. Was never a prostitute. I don't intend to become one, or a sex slave. In fact, it's just so completely the opposite. It's not funny. That's why I'm laughing. Um, I'm learning. I'm learning about how this business works by being put through it by the traffickers and the criminals. So what I learn, I talk about, and I talk about it in hopes that people who are enrolled in the program will will be able to spot the clues, to be able to tell when they are in the program. Because first it starts off covertly and subtly, and then it becomes obvious because the covert program gets to the point where the trainer or trainers think that it's now time to let the victim become aware, because there is no way out now. The person is completely entrapped, degraded, dehumanized, health wise is compromised, disabled, have no family ties, um, uh, mentally compromised artificially, or maybe medically. But in my case, it didn't work. And I went through why in other videos. And it's still not working, and it will never work. What will happen, of course, is I'm going to expose how it's done. And I'm also going to expose how to defeat the criminals in getting what they want. But as I said before, my concern is the recruitment of the children. Kids are extremely vulnerable. And these signals, when they're aimed at your head through the air or directly into the scalp, the back of the neck, they actually alter your brainwave patterns. They alter if you get bombarded with these signals while you're sleeping. Your dreams can be manipulated. So, in other words, it's very possible in a setting like this, which is an apartment setting, for somebody above or below to image your brain. And there is it doesn't have to be very sophisticated technology. I mean, something like a Muse reads your brainwaves. So just upgrade that a bit, pull out your brainwave and alter them, and pulse back in a dream sequence that is also part of training. It's not that sophisticated, really. Not really sophisticated at all. The technology is not sophisticated to do that. All you need to do is, you don't even have to record the brainwave patterns of the person you're affecting. You can just pulse artificial brainwaves into the person, and it could be done through the air, as I demonstrated here. And the pattern can, excuse me, the pattern can imitate anger. It can imitate sexual stimulation, and it will make you want to act out sexually. It will never be anything positive. It will always be negative. So anger, aggression, violence, the dream sequences will always be things like sexually deviant activities, nudity, flashing people. You'll dream about seeing people flash you, so you can imitate it. You're being trained. So it's not sophisticated technology at all. So I intend to get a frequency analyzer and a spectrum analyzer, and determine what sort of frequencies are being pulsed around my head as I sleep. Talk to you at a time. And people out there, ordinary people, you should be aware of this technology. New technology, new crime. It doesn't always have to be children. Adults are being victimized this way as well, and recruited.